Hello, everyone. Welcome to episode 45 of the Catabolic Window. I'm not quite sure what we're going to talk about yet. Probably Luke's jaw as a highlight. I imagine I'll talk about being sick, and then we'll just kind of go from there. How's everyone's week's been? John, you're up first, mate. You're in the hot seat.
Yes, sir. I mean, a couple previous weeks as well as this week so far. I mean, it's Monday we're recording, so I guess I can't really comment on this week so far. But last week got pretty well, to be fair. Back at uni, as I previously said, slowly cracking on with this thesis for the end of the year. It's very, very fucking daunting, but it be how it be. I'll sign up for it. I don't know if anyone's seen my Instagram post, but officially somewhat of a boulder, if I can say that.
Yeah, I've been keeping up with it.
Yeah, I mean, it's going fairly well.
You're doing like jumps
slowly
and shit.
discovering,
You're like flinging yourself.
bro, the dynamic jumps are insane. It's a lot harder than what it looks like. The video doesn't quite get it, but you have to be quite a nimble warrior, and that's kind of what's been going down.
Respect, bro. Respect.
Yeah.
I've just been followed by an online coach. Incredible.
Wow.
Incredible. He's got 200
Bro,
followers.
it reminded me of this would have been like over a year ago now, but I remember I had this. I can't remember his name, but I had this coach message me, and it was like something along the lines of like, "Hey, bro, how's your progress going?" Something like that, and I just gave him like a very blunt message back. Because he mentioned something about coaching, I was like, "Oh, I've already got a coach." And you know what his response was? "Well, if you ever fancy change, you know where I am." What the fuck?
Raw. Get the coaching police on him for that one, bro.
Yeah, suck him off.
That was.
I always get people message me, be like, "Oh, Luke's messaged me for coaching." I'm like, "Yeah, bro, you just got to respect the grind. You can't complain that he's messaging you. Allow it. He's a good coach."
Well, I just want people that follow me. Like, I just say thank you for the follow, and I hope you find the content somewhat useful.
Yeah.
I don't think that's too bad, to be honest.
No.
I get you. I remember because Imogen followed me, didn't she? And then you sent me a photo of you. That's fucking hilarious.
No, you did not respond to Imogen with a classic like, "Hey, cheers for the follow." Did you?
I didn't realise it was her.
Nah, I did that. I did that to someone I know. I forget who it was. One of my mates followed me, and I did it to them, and I was like, "Shit." It's the only time I've slipped up with it.
That's actually so.
I feel like mine isn't too bad. I send a voice note. I'm like, "Hey, how's it going?" I look at their profile. I like start a little bit of a chat. I'm like, "Hey, cheers for the follow. Hope you like my content." And then if they give a dead response, I leave it. Or if they don't open it, I leave it. I think that's where people go wrong. I don't have an issue with
abducted by aliens or something like that.
Oh god, that guy, bro. That's where people go wrong. Like the amount I'll get DMs from people where like I've followed them and I've made the mistake of following them, and they're a coach or they're an entrepreneur or whatever the fuck they do. They run a business, and I made the mistake of following them, and then they've been like, "Cool, I do this, this, and this. Let me know." And I'm like, "Cool." And then a few months later, they're like back in my requested DMs, like being like, "Hey, did you get my message?" I'm like, "Bro, just leave it." Like, if someone follows me and I'm like, "I hope you like my content," and they air it, I'm not gonna chase it. Why the fuck would I? Like, baffling, bro. Baffling.
People are just a bit jarring sometimes. But yeah, Jack, what you been up to this week? Downing your coffee at 5:11, just to make everyone
not optimal.
Don't tell Christian, please. I've been all right, bro. I've been all right. Well, I was ill, or I was horrifically ill 2 days ago. I was slightly less ill yesterday, and now I'm even slightly less ill today. I ate one meal on plan, breakfast 2 days ago, and I didn't eat all day. That's how fucked my appetite was, just to give you a reference of how ill I was. And then I ordered a pizza, and then at like 3 a.m. chundered all that up. And I saw pizza, like I ordered pizza and I ordered chicken nuggets because I was like, I've had no protein, I need something. The thought of meat, I was sat there all day being like, I need to eat some protein. I don't care if I'm under on calories. I need protein. Like I need protein. The thought of chicken or beef or eggs made me feel sick, and I can't have whey. So I was like, there's nothing I can do. So I got a Meat Feast pizza and chicken nuggets. I saw the Meat Feast pizza leave my mouth. I saw the chicken nuggets leave my mouth, and then I saw meal 1 leave my mouth, and I was like, right, that's it. I'm fucked. That's my entire day's worth of food. So yesterday, I was just like, right, I'm going to go to Poundland, I'm going to spend a tenner on crap food, and I'm going to eat 2 days worth of food. And I did it, and I held weight. And
I would not have done that.
I'm back on plan now. No, my appetite has kind of shot after yesterday. I'm back on plan now. I've had
adherence, and you're like 200%.
Yeah, no, genuinely, on the sheets, it's going to be 0% and then 200%. I was definitely under on protein the second day. I've been under on protein both days, but today's been fine. Like, I did swap my egg meal out because the thought of eggs did make me want to chunder. And the first meal I really struggled with, so I swapped rice to like, what was it? It was jam on toast, and I swapped eggs for beef and peanut butter. So yeah.
Your food choices are proper weird, man.
Well, it's just
I swear
PBJ and
getting
beef,
ill
mate.
recently.
You what?
First 2 check-ins, I swear everyone's getting ill recently. First 2 check-ins I did today, both of them were ill. My sister was ill the other day. My other sister was ill a few days before that. It's like, bro, everyone's dying. It's not ideal.
Do you ever get it where like you see across your client base, just like you can see like the people in the north get ill, and then in the Midlands, and then in the south, or like you just see the wave of illness. You message someone, you're like, you're going to get ill soon, buddy. Sorry, it's trending that way.
I've never thought about it. That's hilarious.
I can't lie. I've given up a habit of smoking recently, and I've found that I'm not as ill as I normally would be around this time of the year. I don't know. It definitely is the smoking that's caused it, but my immune function has gone through the roof. There's been like no supplementation or anything. But for those who are vaping or smoking, it's definitely causing you to get ill a lot quicker. I mean, we know that that's basic, just fucking science. But
I did
cutting that shit out around this time of year will probably help.
I feel like you're right there, man. Like, I tried vaping this week as well, and that was boring. It was the deadest thing I ever tried. I tried it because I was like, I want a productivity boost. I want to try nicotine. It was awful, man. So dead. I don't know how people get addicted to that shit.
Something to do every 10 seconds to distract me from work.
Like, yeah, no, genuinely, it was just like, it was just like I was coughing between check-ins. It was boring. It also tasted crap. I don't get how people get addicted to it, but yeah, 5 are wasted, mate.
Yep. There are some that taste alright, to be fair. But going back to your illness thing, that's a good point to highlight, because most clients will be like, oh, what can I do food-wise? Like, I'm not really that hungry. Should I try and get anything down? And there's a...
Oh, Luke's gone. Fantastic. Luke, your Wi-Fi is crap, bro.
Like, if you have too much in one go, you just throw it all back up again. Did you not hear me? What did you hear me say?
Literally nothing.
I said that there's a careful balance to play when you're ill, when you're like trying to get the food in, because if you eat too much, even though you might hit in the calories.
Mate, it's not happening. It is not happening.
Yeah, it completely does.
Can you get your Wi-Fi out the window or something?
Out the window? Jeez.
Yeah, wasn't that like something that helped improve it?
Well, it was in my plant a second ago. It's normally right there.
I can hear you, but I can't see you. But that's probably fine. Oh, it's starting to catch up now. I think you're blurry, but it'll work.
You double hit.
No. I can only hear you once.
Oh, that's so dead. Right. This is the final time I'm saying it. If it doesn't work, then I'm not saying it.
I feel like I know what you said.
There's a balance to play when you're ill, where if you try and like eat too much of your normal food or just too much of something, you just end up throwing it all up anyway, and then you fucked yourself and wasted money.
Yeah, pretty much. Like, I thought I could firm it, and I didn't. And yeah, it is what it is. I probably wouldn't recommend handling it the way I handled it, but I refuse to lose weight in a bulk. It just, not happening, boys. I would rather chunder my food twice.
And what did you do training wise?
Completely off. So today's been off. Saturday I was going to go train with someone. I just took that off. Sunday was a rest day. Today I'm taking off. I seem okay, so I will probably go back to training tomorrow. I've wanted to train a little bit, but I've been sat at my desk and like feeling dizzy and like lightheaded and like I've been standing up and feeling sick, so I'm like, yeah, this is not a good body to load with more weights. So tomorrow I'll see how I feel. But yeah, I'm just taking it day by day, and I'll go back when I feel good enough. But motivation to train has come back, which is good. That's a good sign.
And are you going to keep the split the same, like do it as if it was a normal day, or change it at all?
Nah, just leave it as is. I'm a big fan of like, I'm not a big fan of like fucking up the split. I mean, unless you're going to permanently shift it. But once you've kind of got what works and what works around your routine, like my routine of my week is worked around my training split and vice versa. So tomorrow would be pull and today would be push. I'm not going to do push tomorrow. I'm going to do pull. I'm just going to, whatever's gone is gone. Like, even if my first session back is a rest day, I'll just take the rest day, you know what I mean? Like, that's normally the approach I have. And I do the same for clients, unless they're, like, super, super keen to train. Then I might be like, okay, here's how I would reshuffle things. But for the most part, I'm a firm believer in just stick with the split. Even if the first day is a rest day and you don't want to take it, you're going to be extra rested. Win-win. Just take it.
I think that's the one smart thing you said so far today, Chief.
I say smart things, I just don't do smart things, which is why I have Christian. And then Christian's like, you're being a plonker, you wouldn't tell a client to do that. And I'm like, yeah, pretty much, yeah.
Yeah. He just says stop being a retard to me.
To be fair, yeah. I think but I've noticed it with coaching coaches as well, is 9 times out of 10, the words that are coming out of my mouth are, you wouldn't treat a client that way. It's like Matt from Physique Collective was talking about it. He was like, most coaches need coaches, because what makes a good coach makes an awful client, because you're so wrapped up in how things work and being neurotic, which makes a great coach because you care about other people, but then you try and treat yourself differently and you can't. So most coaches make crap clients, let's be real, for the most part.
Yeah, but I asked Christian that question, like, what's the best and worst part about coaching coaches? And he was like, the worst part is they're some of the worst clients you can get.
Yeah, definitely.
You don't do anything,
yeah,
or they overthink, or that sort of thing.
Yeah, because coaches think they know what's best for them, but they don't, which is why they have a coach. I don't know what's best for me. Hands up in the air, I fucking don't know what's best for me, 100%. Which is why I can't be left to my own devices, which is why I have a coach. But I can sure as shit help other people. But I tend to treat myself differently for some reason. What have you stolen?
I feel like that's a trend you see in a lot of like sports as well, is that some of the best coaches are not necessarily the best athletes. It's kind of funny how the roles reverse in that sort of sense.
Yeah, like a lot of my best clients are just kind of, I don't know how to describe it, but like they ask questions, but they just kind of like get on. They just kind of do things, if that makes sense. Whereas a lot of like the coaches that I see are a little bit more inquisitive, or I don't really know the best way to like phrase it, but there definitely is a difference between like a coach and an athlete and like that mindset. And I can't imagine being someone like Kuba, who is a high level coach and a high level athlete. Like that must be really, really hard to do. I can't imagine doing that.
I almost see it goes into a couple of different categories with clients. There'll be the people that, as you say, like ask questions and want to know the reason behind everything. There's the people that crack on, and it's literally a case of, yeah, same again next week, bro. And then there's the people where you have to do a lot more troubleshooting, and rather than trying to find an optimal plan, it's find what they can stick to for an extended period of time, if you get what I mean.
That's a good way of categorizing. I never thought of it that way. That's pretty accurate. I feel like
I can't think if there's another category.
I think the coaches tend to be people who are obsessed with not just like what they're doing, but what they could be doing. So they're like, oh, body weight held this week, what would we do? Okay, but if body weight went down, what would we do? And if body weight went up, what would we do? And if I do this, what would happen? And if I do this, what would happen? Whereas the best clients that I see tend to be the ones who, yeah, sure, maybe they ask those questions, but not as so impulsively and so, I don't know the best way to phrase it really. It's like I'll ask Christian a million questions. I'll be like, what if we do this, this and this, and what if this, and then what if that, and like, whereas I feel like I should just be going, let's just follow the plan, just kind of a bit more like one road with it.
It's definitely a more common trait of people that like have more experience and more knowledge, where they almost try and negotiate the plan Do you get what I mean?
Yeah, 100%. I negotiated with Christian too much. I think there was like the first few weeks. He was like, "Look, why are you paying me?" He was like, as a coach, I like to be in control. So hand over that control. He was like, "Why are you paying me?" "Because I'm better than you. Because I'm a better coach than you. So fucking listen to me." I was like, "Yeah, fair enough, mate."
Yeah, there's a difference between like saying, "Can we do this?" and just providing feedback on what you're doing. Maybe you can put your thoughts into what you've tried in the past and what's worked better than that or something like that. But you don't want to be sat there going, "Oh, but could we do it this way? My mate's doing this session on this day and he's got this food in his diet."
Yeah. Yeah, there's a difference between like inquiring about something or asking about personal preference and then like dictating. Like there's a time and a place. Like coaching is collaborative, don't get me wrong. You know, we don't just tell our clients like you're dieting, you're pushing up when they're like, you know, we don't tell like someone who's fat and wants to lose weight, no, you need to bulk or something. You know, you can't just force someone to do something they don't want to do. But when people place too many constraints on things where they're like, oh, I really want to do this. I really want to train an upper lower split, and I really want to do a squat, and I really want it to be 3 sets of 5, and I really want them to be RP 8, and then I also really want a plan that is not calorie counted, but I also want the protein to be tracked, and they're just like trying to set everything out already, if that makes sense.
I would do exactly what I was doing before, complaining that I wasn't getting results about.
Yeah. I mean, I have an example of this. Someone came to me and was asking for advice with their diet. Yeah. And I told them to like, oh, let's try and increase protein a little bit. And they gave me one very specific argument of carbs being, I think it's protein preserving or conserving.
Sparing is the term normally.
But because of this one concept that they knew, and they knew fairly well, and I will give it to them. But because they had this arbitrary amount of carbohydrates that they'd chosen to stick with for a previous number of weeks, just they saw it in their mind that they could lower their protein because they're at this set amount of carbohydrates, which immediately means that it's a protein conserving amount.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Which makes someone very uncoachable.
Yeah, I think that's so funny that they're so caught up in like, I'm using more carbs to maximize the protein that I have, and it's like, well, you could also just have more protein, like. And I'd argue that having more protein is a more direct way of sparing protein than just ramping your carbs up. It depends on the situation, but yeah, if you're going to John for advice about food and you're just not going to listen to the advice, then what's the point of asking for advice? You know? I never understood it.
Not ideal.
Right. Luke, your week. We've done my week and we've done John's week.
So when was the last time we did a podcast? It would have been like 2 weeks ago. Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
So since then, I had for anyone listening, you'll see my face looks a bit weird. It's still a bit swollen, but basically what they did was knock me unconscious with the good stuff. Then they pulled my top lip up, made an incision underneath my top lip, round to the side, round to the side. And it's good. So right.
How do you feel about that, Luke? Do you just not think about it?
Well, I had this weird thought the other day, right, when I was in the shower. I was like, I wonder if at one point, like after they'd broken my jaw and everything, and maybe they were just like seeing what was going on in my mouth, if they just like took my whole jaw out and just like put it on a table somewhere, or if they just sort of like it was still somewhat attached and they just moved it forward a little bit. But I got titanium in my face now, so I'd be a really fucking good boxer.
Are you gonna have to like disclose that at airports, or does it not?
No, it's not big enough for that.
Oh sweet! Oh, classic, bro, classic.
Yeah. So it's basically the first week was like whey and soup. That was great. And now I've finally had some solid meals, and I'm very sick of it. I literally never had soup before this, and I'm probably never going to have it again.
I liked when
How many tubs of protein was it? Sorry to interrupt, Jack. How many tubs of protein was it to be as tall as Luke?
It was like 5.5, I
think. That's outrageous.
Yeah, man.
Have you gone through all that protein, or?
No, I was doing like 150 a day to start off with, and now I think I'm at 80 or something like that, which is actually less than I was using before. just because I'm having some yogurt with my oats and that sort of thing. But it's still like I can have stuff now that's like pre-broken up for me, so like minced or really finely chopped up veg is sound because I can just sort of swallow it, and yeah, it's all right now. I can eat a reasonable amount of food. I've got these fucking stupid, I don't know if you can see it,
the bands.
Yeah, to like try and pull my jaw into the right position, and they're really annoying. Do you know what the worst part was, right? Actually, the worst part immediately after was the dry throat. Because you imagine if they're operating on your mouth, they're cutting stuff open, so there's blood going everywhere, there's saliva. They need to like vacuum all of that out. So for like literally 3 days, I felt like I was inside the Sahara Desert. It was horrendous because my throat was still so dry from all of that. It was horrible. And then I couldn't brush my teeth for like several days because my mouth was just so swollen.
Did you not try the bodybuilder classic of Vaseline in your mouth?
That sounds disgusting. Who would do that?
It tastes foul. You know, so when guys dehydrate for a show and they get so dry, they get like permanent dry mouth for like 2 or 3 days. So you rub Vaseline on the inside of your mouth. It tastes terrible, but it keeps your mouth moist. I've heard a few people talking about it on forums. I'm sure it's a bit broy, but fucking mate, if you're desperate, worth a shot. If anyone out there has tried Vaseline mouth, let me know.
That's so weird. Why would you do that?
To not have a dry throat, bro.
Yeah, so I got another 2 to 4 weeks off training. But judging how I'm feeling at the moment, they seem to be pretty happy with how it's gone. Getting the standard, oh yeah, you're recovering really quickly. We don't normally expect it to happen this quickly. Yeah, that's because I don't eat like a retard.
How much BPC have you had?
Give me the good stuff. That would be all good. So yeah, it's all right. Doing a bit more work because now I can sort of feel up to it, and I've got more time, obviously. And then apart from that, I'm just sort of chilling.
It's weird when you go from training to not training, just how much time in the day you have. Do you feel that? Because I definitely do. Like when I have a week off, I'm like, what the fuck?
I've 4 hours.
Yeah, literally, it's crazy.
It's absurd because you're not going there. Obviously, you're having a shower anyway. I remember like one of the first times when I had, this is really weird. One of the first times when I had a proper deload and like didn't train for the week, I forgot to shower for like 2 days because I normally just shower after the gym.
Nah, I kind of know what you mean.
Do you get what I mean?
Nah, I kind of, yeah, like, because, yeah, I feel like I've definitely done that before. I'm trying to think. Maybe not, because I started deloading through uni, so I was a bit more conscious of like, because I was around people and I was in a shared house, but
not being a minger.
Yeah, I know exactly what you mean. Like just small shit that you associate with training. I'm really bad at drinking on rest days. Like I need to drink my squash. I've just made some. I'm really bad at getting the fluids in. I don't know what it is. When I'm training, I just like fly through my drinks, but not on a rest day.
Such a hack getting fluid in, to be fair.
I can't imagine drinking just water. Call me a 7-year-old all day long. Can't imagine it.
Yeah, it would be proper weird. So, kind of leading us onto a question I was talking to someone in the DMs about the other day. But obviously, while I was feeling like absolute shit, I was literally just sat there chilling, stop being posh, drinking your squash like that, just chilling, playing some video games, and he hits me, oh Jack, Starfield update, I've basically completed it.
Have you already?
Yeah, so I'm playing Oblivion.
Oh,
I've never played it before.
It's fucking amazing. Me and Chloe went through a phase in second year of uni where we would both just play it together, but we would sit in the same room and play it separately, but we'd be like, oh, you have to try this quest, bro. It was really nerdy, but it was really great. It's a fucking sick game.
That's
I love that game.
So weird, but rate it.
Oblivion is like Skyrim, but shitter graphics, but like 20 times the detail and in terms of like scope and like quests and how the fucking perk system works. It's crazy.
Do you know what I really like the disposition system? You know, where you like talk through with people to get more information about stuff, but it's too grindy in Oblivion. Like you just sat there and it feels like a mini game.
Well, it is a mini game.
Like, it'd be good if you could. Yeah, I know that. But it'd be good if you could like actually say that like there was actually this stuff there to say, and it's not just like pick a category of thing.
True. Yeah. I don't like
the leveling system.
The leveling system.
The notification at one point, like, you know, you need to go to sleep.
Yeah.
So I was like, I haven't leveled up in ages. Maybe I just missed a notification, and I got like 2 levels. because I just forgot. I just didn't do it.
That's some old school Dungeons and Dragons shit. Going to sleep to like level up and stuff. That's some real nerdy shit. That's why I love Oblivion.
Yeah, I do rate it, and then I just got surprised motherfuckered by the Dark Brotherhood geezer.
Oh shit, bro! That is a hell of a quest line in that game. You've got to try it. I've been playing through
pretty much all of it.
And Thieves Guild as well. That's a good one. I've been playing through some of Fallout 4 because I said I'd slowly make my way through it eventually. So that's what I've been chilling on.
Have you played 3 in New Vegas?
I played 3, not New Vegas. I know, it's the best one. I know.
Go to New Vegas. It's better than 4.
I know 4 isn't that good, but I said I'd finish it and I've got it, so I might as well. But can you imagine playing New Vegas after 4? It's going to hit so much harder.
Yeah, that's fair. I would actually say it goes 4, 3 Vegas.
Really?
New Vegas is the best Fallout game, and ironically wasn't made by Bethesda, really.
Anyway.
But yeah, that was a load of rambles, but hopefully John knows what we were talking about there.
I ain't got a fucking Scooby.
What?
John's too Chad to like have time. He doesn't have time for these petty games. He's on another level. He's busy jumping off rocks and climbing onto other rocks.
Yeah, exactly. I'm learning how to tie figure 8 knots. That's what I'm doing in my spare time.
What was this guy DMing you, Luke, while you were jerking off and like playing Starfield or whatever you do?
No, he said, what do you think of all these self-improvement influencers saying that video games are detrimental?
They can suck out.
Literally, man. I can end that statement with one question. Have you seen your screen time on your phone? That's a question no one likes to be asked, but like, I feel like video games get a bad rep because they're like, oh, you're wasting your life. And it's like, well, how many hours a day do you watch TV? How many hours a day do you watch YouTube, Netflix? How many hours a day do you scroll Instagram? Instead of doing that, you could jump on an Xbox. It's the exact same thing.
Yeah, you get the almost argument of like, oh, you're sucked into it. But I think you could make the claim that with video games, at least you're sort of like actively doing something and focused on one thing. Whereas like if you're scrolling on your phone, watching TikTok, whatever, like you're not really sort of doing anything because you're not. If I asked you, Jack, what was the TikTok you watched 5 minutes ago? You're like, what? I've got no fucking idea.
Yeah.
If I say what was the last quest you did, you're like, oh, I did this. It was for this person. I had to go and get this thing. Like you kind of do it. And I was really enjoying it because it's not the same sort of thing as watching a movie where I'm thinking, fucking hell, my face hurts. This thing isn't that interesting. Like, because I was actively doing stuff, it was really distracting and quite nice. But it's like, for how long are they playing it, and who is this person, and what are their circumstances?
I think
like,
it's
a couple of hours in the evening isn't the same as all fucking day not going outside, staying in the dark.
It's nice to like when you're on your phone, you can easily just get distracted. Like, say if you're like on your phone, you're responding to, let's say you're an online coach. Or your business is your phone, right? Responding to messages, emails, whatever you do. The distractions are right there. You've got YouTube, Netflix, TikTok right there on your phone. And if you're like on your computer working away, again, YouTube, Netflix, fucking TikTok too, I guess, if you like the website. The one thing I like about video games is like...
There's a TikTok website?
Yeah, bro, of course there is.
That's weird.
But like, if you want to play a game, you have to pick this thing up and use another box. Like, you have to go out of your way to distract yourself. And that's the thing that I like about it, is like, if it's so much harder to go, oh no, I accidentally played like fucking Fallout for 5 minutes or 10 minutes. Oh no, like I've accidentally done this. Whereas like on your phone, it's so easy to get sucked into TikTok. So if I was going to pick one pastime, if I was to only do one thing in my downtime, I'd pick video games because I'm less likely to like get sucked in, if that makes sense. And like, I feel like you notice it because you're not sat at your desk or where you work or like glued to your phone. You're like somewhere else doing something different. It's hard to like accidentally waste an hour in bed on your Xbox, whereas it's so easy to like, you know, fucking TikTok through an hour.
Well, no, the time does pass quickly, but the barrier to entry of going and doing that thing is much higher.
Yeah, but I also feel like, well, maybe it's just me personally, but because this is like my desk where I work, and like this messy couch is where I go play games. So if I've been sat there for a while, I kind of clock it. Whereas like if I'm sat at my desk watching TikToks, I don't really clock it as much. I'm gonna have to avoid my dog's head.
You're in a sort of different space, aren't you?
Yeah, like because I'm normally sat at this desk most of the day, so it doesn't really clock in my head that like, oh, I've been on TikTok for an hour. Whereas if I've been there, I'll be like, probably been there for a while. But also like if you're playing like a multiplayer game and the matches are like 10-15 minutes, after every game you get a reminder of like, oh, it's been 10-15 minutes, like the match is over. Or like if you're playing Fallout or Starfield, you complete a quest and it's like, oh, that's probably been a decent amount of time elapsed. Whereas TikToks or YouTube videos are so short that it's like you can try and kind of blast through them, if that makes sense. I don't know, maybe it's a bit of a mindset thing, but
no, I get what you mean. And that's a really good point of having somewhere else to do it separately. Like you don't want to have one place where you do loads of different stuff. Yeah. Like I've got my desk for work, I've got the table for eating, I've got the couch and the TV in the other room for playing video games. Like don't have the fucking Xbox and the massive TV in your room. Like you're asking to have shit sleep. Like that's such a bad idea. But moving on from that one, kind of, you were talking about how like short the TikToks are and that sort of thing. I'm going to say, as a disclaimer, you don't actually spend an hour on TikTok while you're supposed to be working. That was just an example.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah.
Jack isn't a moron, everyone.
Not when it comes to working. When it comes to eating, maybe. When it comes to food, I'm probably an outright prick. But I'm pretty productive.
I heard Alex Hormozy make an interesting point about that it's not potentially that our attention spans have got shorter, it's that there's so much other stuff vying for our attention. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I thought that was quite an interesting way to put it.
I feel like a lot of people talk about like, oh, your dopamine receptor burnout and shit like that. I don't think that's really the case. I think people are just like, things are just getting shorter and shorter and shorter because it's just like, of course, the thing that is immediately interesting is immediately interesting. Like, I don't really understand this concept of like dopamine receptor burnout or anything like that. I think it's just people are just used to shorter forms of content, and of course shorter forms of content are going to be king. Like, if I summarize a topic in 3 seconds, you're going to listen to all of it, whereas if I do it in 3 hours, you're not going to listen to all of it.
And most people probably only remember the summary at the end anyway.
Yeah, it just the whole dopamine receptor burnout and all that stuff. Dopamine detox. I was watching a video on like why dopamine detox is crap, and like it's really frustrating. Basically, the idea of like dopamine detox, if you haven't heard of it, is like you spend X amount of time not doing anything enjoyable. Like, you don't go on your phone, you don't watch movies, you don't do anything. Like, you keep things really, really simple, and you deprive your brain deliberately of dopamine.
How could I make my life more shit?
Literally. And so the idea is like, oh, TikTok's always flashing in your face, and the reason that you feel depressed and crap is because your dopamine receptors are fried, and your brain is incapable of making dopamine because you're just constantly on all the time. So take a week of doing nothing, and then when you go back to it, you're able to like enjoy the outside world, and you're able to feel good about yourself. No, I think if you spent a week of being fucking miserable, I think it's pretty easy to then go back onto like an hour YouTube video or go for a walk outside and be like, hey, this is pretty nice. When I go to Tesco, I don't need my headphones in because compared to staring at the wall, this is quite nice. You know, I think it's just you've set a new baseline of shit. It just, that stuff bugs me, man. If you're doing a dopamine detox right now, just have a bit more, like, respect for yourself. Go to bed on time. Like, genuinely, like, don't stay up late on your phone. Eat healthily. Get some physical exercise in. Set yourself times in the day to be productive, and set yourself times in the day to not be productive. And you'll be like, wow, my dopamine is fine. Unless you have an issue with your dopamine genuinely, like you're depressed or something, then obviously that's not going to help. But if you don't have an issue there, then you'll be fine.
But detoxes also don't solve the problem. They delay the next time that you're going to encounter it.
It's like the social media detox.
Does a fucking tea detox or whatever. Like, social media, tea, dopamine, whatever the fuck it's going to be. What do you do after? You go back to doing exactly the same thing that got you to the point where you wanted to take a detox in the first place.
Food detoxes annoy me because, like, do you not have a liver and kidneys? What toxins are you concerned about? Like, what? It's baffled me. If you talk to anyone and they're like, my body's full of toxins, you're like, what are they? What are they? Like, the toxins from the processed food I eat. And I'm like, yeah, okay, cool. You know, ambiguous phrasing, but cool. You're not eating extremely healthily. But do you not have a liver and kidneys? Like, alcohol is a toxin. It's literally a poison. That's why you have a liver. You know, if you didn't have a liver, you would probably be in trouble if you drank a lot of alcohol. But if you have a liver, you're fine. I don't know, it just bugs me, man.
Yeah, and it's like, okay, so these are all the toxins that are in my system from this thing that I'm doing. So what I'm going to do is not have anything for a week, and then I'm going to go back to eating like a dickhead. That's going to solve it.
Yeah, the social media detox is a classic example. Like, people realise that what they're doing on social media isn't too fantastic, and then they take a week off and then they go right back to it. If social media is making you feel shit, the algorithm will push onto you whatever you consume, okay? You can consume some really positive shit, or some really neutral shit, or some really negative shit. I've got an Instagram account that's literally just for personal use. It's full of the most weird, obscure jokes and memes, and it's the most neutral thing you've ever seen. It doesn't make me feel shit about myself. It doesn't make me feel actively good about myself. It's just neutral. If you surround yourself with looking at shit that makes you feel crap, you're going to keep getting that thrown in your face. So stop consuming it. Social media isn't inherently bad. It's just whatever you consume on it. And if you take a detox, like Luke said, and then you come right back, you're just going to be in the same situation. What do you think's going to have happened to Instagram in the week that you were gone? Do you really think that Matt Does Fitness is going to have lost all his gains and made you feel better about yourself? No.
I think Jack's a little bit upset about this one. But if you do want to feel really good about your social media usage, then just follow all of us. Have a great time.
Yeah, I feel like we're pretty neutral on the in terms of our impact on social media. I feel like I like to think we're positive. You know what? I like to think we're positive in what we put out there. You know.
I fucking hope so.
To be fair, yeah, I hope so.
It's not too bad. Right, boys, we've got a little bit more time for the podcast then. Have you boys got anything you want to talk about, or should we go to a couple of questions that I've got?
I haven't got anything. I'm just running through my messages real quick, seeing if there's anything that happens to line up with. We did Kez's question.
Kez not your question?
No, she hasn't. I know. She said she's probably like our only listener. I was like, yeah, you're probably right. She makes short jokes a lot at you, Luke. I spare you from them quite frequently.
It's fine. I accept. It's all good.
She was like, "Oh, I'm too short for the leg press," and then put like something about Luke or something. I don't want to misquote it, but it was to do with she's shorter as well.
That was funny.
Yeah, there were a couple I shared with you.
Is he frozen, or is he just like? Oh no, he moved his eyes.
Did someone say something?
Have you got any questions or topics?
I've got any questions, but I've got a statement. And it's about the climbing community and about how poor their nutrition is. Oh. It's actually fucking vile.
Really?
Over the conversation, someone hadn't eaten the entire day and they'd gone climbing. And they were like, "Oh yeah, after this, I'm just gonna have a slice of toast." And I was like, "Excuse me, like, oh, how can you go climb and just have a slice of toast after?"
That's
like
outrageous.
A good solid 3-hour exercise session, and you're just gonna have toast afterwards. Like, are you mad?
You've got a niche there, bro.
If you're doing any type of physical activity, you need to eat, bro.
Mm-hmm.
You need to eat.
You've got a niche there, mate. Fucking reach out.
This has been weighing on my mind. Like a lot of them even question like even taking protein, like whey protein as a supplement. I'm like, come on, man. It's 2023. We need to get through this.
Bro,
sorry, ran over.
I can imagine that climbers being like, I don't need protein because I don't lift weights, as if like climbing isn't a stimulus, or you need protein demands regardless of what you're doing. To be fair,
the thing is, the people saying this are such better climbers than me, and they're also more jacked than me. So who am I? Let's be real,
mate. Just give it more time.
Some climbers are pretty wham. To be fair.
They are.
There's a difference between wham and shredded. I want to say that, but some guys are wham. Because a lot of
there's a couple guys I've seen
You what? What did you say,
Because they
Luke?
don't eat all day.
Oh yeah, yeah. If you're doing something as demanding on your upper body as climbing, and all you're having is a piece of toast, your biceps probably going to be like separated from your tricep nicely. Striated delts are going to be there, mate.
I remember when I was in first year uni, when there was lockdown, I was training at like a calisthenics park, and there were some climbers that would come there, right?
Yeah.
And there was this one geezer that could do like 8 proper single arm pull ups, like not at one hand on the other, like
Yeah.
legit single arm. It was stupid.
Was he like physically impressive?
Yeah, it was pretty wham, to be fair.
Fair. Fair. But I think the thing is, right, with most climbers, I'm going to put this out there, it's kind of like powerlifters. With most climbers, normally the reason, if they're a wham climber, normally the reason behind that is because they've done some form of accessory work in the gym relating to developing strength and musculature that is associated with climbing. It's not the climbing itself that has given them that size, if that makes sense. I feel like that's where a lot of people look at swimmers or divers and they're like, oh, swimming like tones you. Like, I've heard people before, they're like, swimming is so toning. It's so toning. I'm like, no, these guys go to the gym and like they follow a nutritionist and like, you know, they're doing like some form of, if you want to call it bodybuilding or physique development work alongside the swimming that they're doing, and that's why they look that way, because they're doing similar stuff to what we're doing.
Yeah. Nailed it. Bosh. Okay, boys. Interesting one then.
Go on.
What do you think stops people filming their sets in the gym to like look back at them for form analysis? Like, Jack, I'm sure you've encountered this, where it feels like you're asking someone to climb Everest to take a form video.
Go on, John.
Social anxiety. Well, I say anxiety. Just social awkwardness.
100%.
Having to set up a camera in the gym, like that shit's awkward as fuck, especially if the gym's busy. Like, I don't want to just be whipping out my tripod, especially if it's going to get in some brother's way. Like, I don't want to do that. Some of it is also anxiety, I guess. Some people may think, maybe others are thinking like you're full of yourself, or you're trying to show off and be impressive. Like, I don't want to have to deal with that. What's your boy's take?
Definitely, mate. I think it's drawing attention to yourself, and especially if you don't think of yourself very highly. Oh my god, I'm shivering. It's so fucking cold. I need to shut that door in a second. I think it's like drawing attention to yourself, and especially if the lift that you're doing you're not too confident on. Like when I film myself looking at my form for bicep curls and I'm curling like 10 kilos and my biceps are kind of crap, I do feel a little bit self-conscious myself, because I'm like, people probably think that I think I'm the shit because I'm doing this and filming myself, but in actuality I'm just trying to hold myself accountable and make sure my biceps do grow by me keeping form good. But I think still we're in an age where more and more people film, and the new standard of people don't give a shit includes filming. Like, everyone at my gym films and no one really cares, and I've been to gyms where I'm the only one filming, and trust me, no one cares unless the gym says they don't like you filming, but that bugs me. I'm gonna shut that door, Jesus.
What you said there, Jack, about how you don't feel very confident about, say, the bicep curls, and that's the reason that you film them.
Yeah.
But that barrier is what stops people. They're like, oh, I'm not sure about this lift, so I don't want to film it. It's like, how are you ever going to get better? How are you ever going to make it better if you can't see what it looks like outside from, oh, that's in the mirror? Like, it's going to be quite hard to do. But yeah, you're absolutely spot on there, boys. Confidence being a big one there. The way that I sort of look at that, like, if you walk into the gym, you take 5-10 seconds, look around at every single person there. How many of them look back? Not many. They're all focused on what they're doing. And the way that I did it when I was sort of worried about, like, oh, what if people think I'm a bit weird filming, is I just get a water bottle, pop it on the floor. Obviously, it's not a glass and you can't see through it. So people on that side of the gym can't see anything. You just pop your phone there. Yeah. And most people are going to notice anyway. And then you can get a reasonable idea of what it looks like. Another big one that I've encountered a fair bit as well is not being able to listen to music.
Yeah.
I've had people like, oh, I'd feel more if it meant that I could listen to music during my sets. So anyone on an iPhone that wants to film your stuff, all you need to do is go into the phone bit, go onto the photo button, and then John's going to show us on his toaster screen. And then you swipe across to the right from photo.
Yeah,
and
you can keep listening to your music. Magic.
What, Jack? Can you see that with John's camera?
Yeah, it's gone all whacked, bro. That looks crazy.
Bro, it looks like there's like flies on his screen.
Oh, that's my bad then. I'll save them for later. That's my bad.
Oh yeah. What does that even mean?
Fuck, he's saving the flies
protein,
for later.
Protein,
yeah,
don't worry, bro. It's protein.
It's for the climbing diet. Fucking,
Yeah.
I'm trying to see if there's any other questions that I got. We did Kez's keto question last time, didn't we? I forgot to even answer those fucking questions. I put up a Q&A like a couple of days ago, and I forgot to respond to it. And I know that you guys gave me some questions.
You suck, man.
So I was busy. I was like, I have time. I never do Q&As anymore because I have time right now. But then I'm like, okay, well, if I'm doing a Q&A, I'm saying that I'm going to have time throughout the day or later on to answer these. And I don't normally. And then I was like, I have time, and I didn't. You said, I haven't trained for a while. Would you suggest bulk or cut when I start again? That's a good question.
Why are you... I don't want you to coach me. I've got Christian.
Yeah, well, I've got Christian too.
I got my check-in with him tomorrow. He's going to tell me, oh, bro, you're not as fat as I thought you'd get. Boom.
Sweet. Well, to be fair, I'd be impressed if you got fat with, like, your jaw busted up. Like, literally struggling to eat.
Able to have a decent amount of calories, to be fair.
Fair.
It's not too bad. I'm still having 5 meals a day.
I'm glad you enjoyed the chicken soups that I recommended on the bulk. You enjoyed them for a bit, and then you stopped enjoying them.
It was a bit thick. The second. I wasn't too impressed with that.
They are really thick, which is why I stopped doing them, because that almost made it more filling and more nauseating than just like eating chicken. And just like eating chicken's quite a neutral experience, whereas like a thick chicken shake is like actively nauseating. It was rough. The thought of that right now does make me feel sick, but I am also sick, so.
Well, hopefully you feel better next week.
Thank you, darling. XOXO.
You're welcome, big man. You are welcome.
I like how unplanned and shit our podcasts are every time.
No, bro, this one was good.
Yeah?
It was well good, yeah.
All right.
John sat like, fucking hell, why do I still do the podcast? Jesus Christ.
Literally, all I can think about right now is what I'm going to train in like an hour or so.
You're training in an hour?
Yeah, roundabout.
What are you training?
Funnily enough, with the climbing, I'm sort of doing like a full body split at the minute. 3 days a week in the gym, and then I'm climbing twice. I say 3 days a week. One of the sessions is literally one exercise because it's after climbing.
Oh, but
what is that? It's technically like 2 days a week, full body. So it's not really all that exciting. Yeah. Not like some fancy exercises. It's literally 3 exercises. It just gets the work done essentially. But I've not been for a week. We've deloaded, so I'm excited to get on this new mezzo.
Run me through what you've got. I'm interested. What? Just the lifts. We don't
Today's
need
session,
a breakdown further than that, but just the lifts.
The lifts today is a weighted pull-up.
Makes sense.
Assisted dip, but
Makes sense.
The super ROM, like all the way down, like titties to fingers. And then I've got a split squat.
Oh, okay. When you said all the way down, I thought you meant like shoulder protraction, like pressing all the way down, rather than like.
Oh yeah, like pretty much like shoulders to hands, but like super ROM, like however you want to fucking.
What's like all the way up and all the way down?
What dip? Yeah.
Damn, bro. Fair enough.
Yeah.
Nice light.
Well, because it's assisted, I can afford to go into that bit of that neutral range, if you would, or
man,
passive
absolutely.
Range, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, as much as me and Luke harp on about passive ROM, there's nothing wrong with going there, as long as you're being sensible. There's just a higher injury risk, but there's a higher injury risk if you train closer to failure. So, yeah. John's raised a good point there about going into passive ROM safely.
Yeah, it comes down to do you do it like a dickhead, and most people do, so they're probably going to get injured, which is obviously not ideal.
Yeah, because most people go into passive ROM on a leg press with like 5 plates per side. and then tear their shit up.
Similar background in Let's Go.
Have you seen Reese? I love you, mate, but have you seen Reese's leg presses when he just like his whole he becomes like a shellfish at the bottom.
My clients send them to me.
Really? Do they? No way.
They're like, what's your thoughts on this? Or this makes me feel uncomfortable. Shit like that.
The thing is, though, like, I'm sure his body can take that, but I still don't think it's this. I still don't think it's the smartest decision. But he can get away with that. But just because he can doesn't mean you should at all.
Yeah.
If I did that, I would die. I would actually die.
I would have no T-spine if I did that.
Same. Yeah.
Not the ideal. Right, this podcast is getting bad. Let's call it a day, boys.
All right, I've dropped my pen somewhere. That's important.
10:15. Sean, thank you very much, boys. Thank you, everyone, for listening. I don't know what I was going to say there. This has been episode 5. We are coming on to 1 year of podcasting. Spotify did give us our anniversary the other day, but we had missed a couple of episodes here or there. However, I'm confident in saying that we are a pretty consistent podcast overall, providing sick information to you all, dispelling bullshit.
Also spitting bullshit.
Can we get some dog content before we finish?
Also spitting our own variety of bullshit, yeah. Oh yeah, get the dog in for the likes. Let's go.
There he is, palling around.
Can King give us a send off or something?
He's just yawned.
Lick the camera, bro.
Can give us a woo?
A woo.
Can you whistle?
A woo. A woo. He's just blinking at me. Sometimes he winks at me.
Why do I live with you?
He loves living with me. I give him beef mince.
Do you?
Yeah, of course. Sometimes, not all the time. As a treat.
Oh, right. What is that? Just like if there's some extra in the pack that you don't need, or you just buy him his own pack?
A mixture of both. He gets his own pack, and then sometimes I'll deliberately cook too much, or sometimes if there's a little bit left over, I'll give it to him. If I've got calls planned. You what?
They can eat it raw, can't they?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Yeah, not chicken though, but beef. Yeah.
They can have raw eggs as well. I mean, we can, but it's grim.
What? So. Eat raw red meat?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know why you'd want to. I mean, I wonder what the absorption rate would be like, because raw eggs don't absorb. They don't absorb anywhere near as good when they're raw compared to cooked. If anyone here,
it's more hard.
If anyone here anyone listening still drinks raw eggs, you're literally letting yourself down. Cook them, and you will be better off. Not just for flavour, but for actual absorption. You'll actually get the protein in. You'll actually absorb it and use it if you cook them. Don't believe me? Look it up.
I mean, eggs used to be the gold standard for measuring protein uptake, if that's anything. Before whey was sort of used, eggs were used to measure protein uptake. So if you cook them, you're good.
I don't even know what the difference is in terms of percentage-wise, but there is a definite drop-off raw compared to cooked. Now he's biting me. God damn it.
It's not ideal. I thought he was trained.
He's still in training, bro. He's still a pup. He's only 6 months. He's kind of a teenager now. He likes to push the boundaries a little bit. He's getting sassy, which is apparently what they do for a bit.
You need to give him a little backhand.
Yeah, bro, I throw him over the balcony.
That was a joke.
You're going to get us cancelled again?
Yeah. Again. Let's go. Right, Jack, end the recording. This is just useless now.
Alright, bye everyone. See ya.